Tonight's show is brought to you in conjunction with our friends at Boohoo Man. Get up to 40% discount now off their entire clothing range, including the brand new Top Boy wardrobe they have available just ahead of the new release of Top Boy Season 2 on Netflix. Now smash that like and share button, people. Let's do this.
Absolutely magnificent.
Tottenham Hotspur smash, in fact, destroy, embarrass, and humble Everton 5-0 on Monday Night Football. Of course, the headlines are going to rightfully belong, I can't even speak, to Harry Kane tonight. 176 goals in the Premier League. He surpasses Thierry Henry's record, becomes the fourth highest goal scorer in his own right. I have to go and check. There might be fifth. I looked a minute ago and I forgot already. But a sensational night for him. Two excellent finishes from England's main centre forward, and maybe going to go down as the best England centre forward in the history of the Premier League in some people's eyes. We're going to talk about that tonight as well. But overall, a brilliant display from Tottenham. 2 wins on the bounce, 2 high goal scoring games on the bounce. They play Manchester United on Saturday, and they will be fancying their chances coming to Old Trafford. They really, really will. Lots to delve into and talk about on this show. Everton also, an absolute abomination of a football club. They truly, truly are. And, you know, they're an embarrassment, really. They really are an embarrassment. There is no doubt about it whatsoever to themselves. Like, without sounding horrible, without sounding harsh, they're an embarrassment to themselves. £480 million has been spent since their billionaire owner took over in the early part of 2016. £480 million spent. Heritage for days, history for days, but no structure, no culture, no strategy, no heart. They're a sinking stone right now and could very well go down this season. And the most embarrassing part of that is they've got England's number 1 goalkeeper in the nets. They've got some good players at the back. They really do have some good players at the back. You can't even get away from it. Decent players at the back. They've got Decore in the middle. They've got Allen. Donny van der Beek went there. You know, they've got decent players throughout that team. For them to be getting relegated or even in contention with being relegated is an absolute abomination. It truly, truly is. There's no doubt about it. If you want to call in this evening and have your say, the link has now been shared into the live comment section. I want to hear from you. Give us a bell. Jerome here says, where was that performance in the FA Cup? Playing a struggling Everton, and they had the game of their lives, but could score against a championship team. Look, I understand where you're coming from, Jerome. I do. Spurs are still finding their feet under Antonio Conte. He's got a lot of work to do. A lot of money needs to be spent. A lot of investment is needed to make this team better, to improve things overall. But I do get the frustration. I do get the frustration. Just you come backstage. We'll definitely get anyone to have your say. I also want to talk Harry Kane tonight, people. We have to speak Harry Kane because he has broke the record. And whether people like it or not, he has now got more Premier League goals than Thierry Henry. I want to get your take on that. In fact, I'll give you my take on it straight away. Thierry Henry got to 175 goals in, I think, something like 12 games fewer than Harry Kane took. So I think looking at here, so Thierry Henry, 175 goals in 258 games. Harry Kane, 176 in 271. So you're talking a difference of 13 games, including tonight, difference between the two. And, you know, I heard a lot of Arsenal fans earlier today say Bukayo Saka is the best young player in the league because he's performing at the same level as the Fodens, but in a lesser team. And that's one of the reasons why Harry Kane's goal scoring record is so impressive. The majority of Thierry Henry's goals scored for Arsenal when they were one of the top, where they were either the best, second, or third best team in England, predominantly. Harry Kane has done it in a team which has overtly struggled. Now, there is no claim from me that that Harry Kane is a better football player than Thierry Henry. That would be a ridiculous statement. Thierry Henry is one of English football's goats. Some people say the Premier League goat, but he's one of England's goats. So we don't need to get into that debate per se. Harry Kane, though, is a very capable player. He's an amazing finisher. He's an amazing passer. He's an amazing football player overall. There is no doubt. Trophies need to be added to the equation. Thierry Henry, if you just look at Premier League career, so 2 Premier League titles did he win? 2 Premier League titles, umpteen FA Cups. He was a winner. And that's something Harry Kane has got to add, which is why I believe Harry Kane has got to leave Tottenham. You know, if Harry Kane goes to a team where he is pivotal and decisive in them winning league titles, and I won't have this nonsense that if he goes to Man City or Liverpool, and I'm just using those 2 teams as an example, and scores lots of goals, he's just an also run. He won't be a key figure. Goals win games. And at the end of the day, he'll be integral wherever he goes. If he goes somewhere and wins 2 or 3 Premier Leagues, maybe a Champions League, some FA Cups and League Cups, then maybe his overall legacy changes. He's got the goals. He's got the goals to game ratio. He now just needs to add winning trophies, and within those teams, some big game performances. And I'm talking, he's done well in individual Premier League games. We've seen him against Man City the other day. You know, he's not a flat track bully generally, but what Harry Kane needs to do now is step it up. Step it up in semi-finals, step it up in finals. And I think he needs to do that at a club with a greater mentality than Tottenham. And I mean that with respect, because his goal scoring record is absolutely out of this world. And Harry Kane he's a superstar football player. He really is that good. And I'm someone that's always praised him in that regard. There are elements of his game that I want to see him challenge himself with. But I'm just looking at the overall Premier League goals rate. He's actually 6th. I said 4th or 5th earlier. That was wrong. He is 6th. He's 1 goal behind Frank Lampard. He'll pass him this season. He is now 8 goals behind Aguero. 8 goals behind Aguero, 9 to surpass him. And he is 11 goals behind Andy Cole. 11 goals behind Andy Cole. I don't think he'll score 11 between now and the end of the season. But who knows? I mean, he scored 9 in his last 10 games. 8 in his last 10 games. So if he went on a really good run, he could become the 3rd highest goal scoring player ever in the history of the league this season. But where he's got to improve is when you start to break down what the other players around him have won, okay? So, you know, you think about the list here. Alan Shearer, he's got 266 goals, huge. He won the league. Probably should have won more, but he made a stupid decision of going back to Newcastle instead of a proper club. I'm joking. Wayne Rooney won it all. Won everything there is to win in English football, European football, and world football at club level. Andy Cole won it all. Maybe not a League Cup, but he won everything else. Aguero won it all but the Champions League here. Lampard won it all. You go to Thierry Henry, Premier Leagues, FA Cups. Then you start going a little bit below that. Robbie Fowler, won some domestic trophies with Liverpool. Even Jermaine Defoe. Did Jermaine Defoe win a trophy? Did he win the League Cup with Spurs? I think he did. So even Jermaine Defoe, that's number 9 on the list, has won a trophy. Michael Owen, Premier League winner, baby, with Man United. But look, Michael Owen is there on 150 goals. Everybody in that top 10 has at least 1 trophy. And everybody just below and above Harry Kane has got multiple trophies, or in Shearer's case, 1 major trophy, but superior amount of goals. Harry Kane needs to add the winning. Because if Harry Kane could finish his career, if he could move now and get 3 Premier Leagues, 2 League Cups, an FA Cup, and you never know, win a Champions League somewhere and be pivotal in it, Harry Kane conversation goes away from being one of the league's greatest ever goal scorers, one of our best ever finishers, one of our best overall footballing attackers the Premier League's ever had. Because as a footballer, better than Michael Owen, overall football. Better than Robbie Fowler. Better than Andy Cole. Better than Alan Shearer. As an overall football player. Some of the passes to touches, the little silks and skills, those guys weren't doing. Rooney, Aguero, Henry, it's a different conversation for a different day. But Henry has laid the standard for strikers in this Premier League. There's no doubt. And what Harry Kane now needs to have is those trophies. And if he does, greatness beckons. Greatness beckons. Nobody turns around and discounts Henry's trophies or Aguero's trophies or Rooney's trophies by saying, yeah, but those clubs might have won them without them. Maybe they would, maybe they wouldn't. Man United were winning league titles before Rooney. We haven't actually won any after him, to be fair, but we won them before him. We had players join our club that were pivotal for a number of years for us. We won things before them and we won things after them. People try to put down Harry Kane's achievements all the time. It's disgraceful. We're going to take some calls very, very soon. We're going to get the boys on. Joshua here says, Terry, where are all the Donny fanboys? He got subbed off again, missing in action in the midfield. Passes backwards rather than forward. Had one good performance against Leeds. Look, I've watched 3 Everton games now because I want to watch Donny van de Beek because I'm a Man United fan. So disappointing. So disappointing in his overall quality, his lack of impetus in the game. Look, Everton have a problem away from home. The way they performed against Man City was excellent. The fact they can't... The irony is this. People always tell me mentality is not that important in football. Then why can a team perform resolute at home and not away? What's the difference? The pitches are practically the same size. What's the difference? Fans. Pressure. No creature comforts. Does it make you nervous? Does it make you lose your confidence? That's mentality, my brothers. It's not an ability thing. If you can defend soundly at home, but not away, that has nothing to do with your ability. That has almost nothing to do with your quality. It's to do with how you mentally handle the situation. Terry piped down, Omri is a god. Have some shame. What are you talking about? At what point did I say Harry Kane is better, has a greater legacy, has a greater career, or is the better player than Thierry Henry? Where did I say this? That cognitive dissonance must be so loud right now. It must be like someone banging a cymbal drum in your head. I said nothing of the sort. Harry Kane's goal-scoring record is exemplary. His performances as a player are brilliant. But for him to be in an Henry, Aguero, Cole, Rooney, Shearer conversation, he has to add trophies. He can't enter it until he has the trophies. Just can't. Not in my opinion. Not in my opinion at all. Harry Kane is clear of Henry. End of is what's said here. That's a big claim being made there. Credit to Harry Kane. He is world class, is what the Mikel Arteta talk says. That's from an Arsenal fan there, a member of the Football Terrace. Henry was overrated, period. Facts. I mean, that's coming from a Man City fan, I will add. That's not being said by Spurs fans. Rowe here says, from a Chelsea fan, do not compare him to Henry. Kane cannot match Henry. We're not comparing him to Henry. The only reason Henry's... So I need to make this very clear tonight. For anyone in the back, the reason Henry's name is being mentioned is because Kane passed his goal-scoring record tonight. If tonight Harry Kane had passed Lampard, we'd be saying he'd passed Lampard's goal-scoring record. But he passed Henry's. He's not being compared to Henry. Pound for pound, like for like. As such, it's looking at his goal-scoring record and what does he need to do to leave a lasting legacy. In terms of Kane, though, Kane just isn't a goal scorer. He's not a tapping merchant. He's not a goal poacher. He is a goddamn good footballer. Oh, fair enough. I came late into the stream. Fair enough. There we go. I appreciate the apology. Terry, Kane scoring 500 goals wouldn't change my mind that Henry is a better player. Not asking anyone to change their mind about him being a better player. That is not the debate. That is not the conversation. So I'm not going to read the rest of your comment because that isn't what we're talking about. Completely. We're talking about how good Harry Kane is. Not about how much better he is or isn't than Henry. How good is Harry Kane? That is the conversation tonight. Simple as that for me. On top of that as well, Everton. We want to speak a bit of Everton tonight. Are they going to go down? Are they finished in the... It would be lovely. Imagine Burnley stay up and Everton go... I'd laugh so hard. I don't even know why. Do you know what it is? I think for me, it's proof in the pudding. That it doesn't matter how much you spend. Doesn't matter how good you are in the transfer market at times. What you sign. History. If you're not run well, it can all come crumbling down. And it has. The house of cards has fallen. £480 million since the summer of 2017. Sorry, the summer of 2016. Like, people laugh at Man United for dropping £1 billion in 9 years. Everton have dropped half that amount in like 5.5, 6 years. Like, pound for pound as well, their income compared to Man United, if you look at the percentage of their turnover they're spending on players, it's colossal. It's colossal. And people wonder why the likes of Burnley don't go crazy mad in the transfer market. Keep it simple. Play a certain style of football to survive. Everton have tried to go grand and big. They've bitten off more than they can chew. They need the Heimlich maneuver, and Lampard ain't got the strength. And as the Tottenham fans are singing tonight, you just to shit Steven Gerrard. It's a good chance, to be fair. I like that. Terry, the hiring of Lampard is one of the worst decisions in EPL history. He is not experienced or equipped to manage to deal with a relegation battle. I could not agree with you more, Winter Surfer. And he himself has made... Maybe he did... You know what? Sometimes maybe he didn't really understand sort of the magnitude of what he was taking on. Maybe he didn't really understand how hard it was going to be. Maybe he didn't kind of understand the toxicity in the dressing room, the lack of quality in certain individual players when he took the job on. But as a football club, I mean, they were also talking to Wayne Rooney, who's got even less experience than Lampard. This job at Everton was a Sam Allardyce-esque job. I'm not saying it had to be Sam Allardyce, but I know he went down with West Brom last year. They didn't have as good a players as Everton. It needed a manager like him, in my opinion. He did not pass Lukaku's record too. He did not pass his record too. Check. What is his record? I don't know what record you mean, bro. He's got more goals in the Premier League than Lukaku. So I don't know what you mean, G. I don't know what that means. Right, we're going to bring the panel out now to have their say on the show. Remember, we are sponsored by Boohoo Man. Their brand new Top Boy range is out. It's really, really good. Go and get it downloaded. Click on our link in the description below. Get the app downloaded as well and go check out their entire clothing range. You can get up to a 40% discount using promo code TFT10 right about now, my wonderful people. Panel time now on the show. Looking forward to this. Should be quite a good chat, no doubt about it. Let's do it, people. Let's go. I hit the wrong button. It isn't working. I'm meant to be playing a video and it's not playing. Why is it not playing? That's rubbish. Oh, it did it then. All right, let's do it again. I don't know what was going on there. That was awful. That was absolutely awful.
Technical problems, Terry.
I know. It's terrible. I pressed it and nothing was happening.
But it worked the first time, mate. It worked. You just did it 3 times.
Oh, it didn't do it for me. It didn't play it here. I didn't see it. I didn't play it. Sorry, everyone who's watching. Yeah, it didn't play in my end. I had no idea whether it played or not. Terry exposed Lampard with that hexagon video. Yeah, I know. It's my fault. It's my fault. I showed his tactics off and it all went downhill. Boys.
That's more like it.
It was, right? I mean, you must be much happier tonight.
You know why? Because Bentancur was back. Bentancur was back and he bossed that midfield. And you got all of them. That guy seems to be the engine that potentially, all right, it's early days, but potentially that we've been missing the last couple of seasons, I think. He seems to have that quality. He wants the ball. He's just everywhere. He's breaking down the attacks. He's, picking out passes. He's spreading the ball really well. And he's always thinking, from the way he plays, you can see that he's thinking forwards all the time. And that's what we need. We need that impetus. And anyway. But I think that's one of the main points from tonight's performance.
It was much better. Look, and Everton, we know they're poor, but I don't always think that's a good enough excuse to take things away from Tottenham. You still had to be decisive. You still had to, some of your goals tonight were class as well. Both of Harry Kane's were absolutely brilliant. And even the own goal, because Michael Keane's a good defender. That was all Sessegnon, the way he crossed it. Do you know what I mean? The pressure you were putting them under was very, the intensity straight away was so good. And it's weird how this performance came out It's just gonna be interesting to see how Spurs perform the next time you get this season. You get into a moment where if you win, you go a point in front of Arsenal. Can you do it? Like that? That's what I think comes. Handling the pressure is what matters next.
Yeah, we never seem to handle the pressure. I mean, I'd be happy with this performance if it didn't come on the back of losing to Middlesbrough, losing to Burnley in recent weeks, losing 3 out of 4. So, it's a good result, good performance, but we always shoot ourselves in the foot. And if it were to come to the point where we're going to go a point above somebody like for the 4th place, we'll probably end up putting in a poor performance again. I want to give a shout out to Kulusevski. I thought he had his best performance for Spurs by some way. For me, although he done good for the assist for the own goal, Sessegnon, I thought he was absolutely poor tonight. He got caught on that ball so many times. I don't think it's up to it. I want to see Reguilon there, and it looks like Sessegnon's picked up an injury as well, so maybe Reguilon will come back into the team. But Bentancur, again, when you take a boy out of that midfield and put a man in that midfield, you see a difference. It's not saying that we're going to have the best midfield in the league. I'm just saying there's a clear difference in that midfield today compared to what it has been in recent weeks. I'm just thankful that Harry Winks is on the bench because we need that. And good performance tonight, but we'll go away to Man United and end up losing 3-0. So what's the point?
I hear that. You mentioned Kulusevski.
Kulusevski.
A lot of people are raving about Luis Diaz, and rightfully so, because he looks brilliant. I think he's looked better than Kulusevski has, but he does look like he's made for the Premier League. He looks like he's going to perform here. Like in the 4 or 5 games I've seen from him, I've seen a much better player than Bergwijn as an example. The overall game, the approach, the speed, handling it, and the fact he's been here a few weeks, like it's kind of gone under the radar, but he's looked kind of tasty in every game.
Yeah. I agree with that. So for me, Bergwijn has never lived up to the Premier League. I think he's been overshadowed by it. A bit sad to see Lucas Moura take a backseat as well, but to be fair, the games before that, he's not been well. So it's good that we've had players come in to challenge, because for some time now, it's been stale in the Spurs team and the same players playing week in, week out. And I think they've got comfortable. So when you bring in players that have pushed and look better than what we had, it's a good sign for the rest of the season. And without no midweek games, Conte seems to perform better in the league. An alarming stat, though, our 3rd top goal scorer this season is his own goals. So that's not a good sign. Let's be honest. So, hopefully we can improve on that for the rest of the season too. But we'll see how we go.
Yeah, how are you feeling, Jerome? Could you sort of, again, your super chat earlier was very much along the lines of, I'm happy, but where was his performance, as you say, against Borough? Where was it against Burnley?
Yeah. For me, it's like, where was this against Borough? How didn't they play like this against Borough? Because to me, this season, it's done for me. I don't care. I don't care about top 4. I don't care, because the last time I saw them win a trophy, I was 25. I was in the prime of my life. I was 25 years old. I'm now 39. That's how long I haven't seen them lifting something. I'm so sick of it. I'm like, what does top 4 bring to us? We're still losers. We still don't bring nothing. There's nothing to put in that goddamn cabinet. I'm sick of it. I wanted them to push for the FA Cup, at least go as far as they can. But they left this competition with a whimper. Like, that was the worst performance I saw against Borough. I wanted to come on the stream on that day, but I was so angry. I would just be swearing the whole time. So I'm just like, no, just leave it. Just no point.
I hear that, mate. I do hear that. Look, the game is what it is, and look, you deserve the win. You perform well. Everton are I didn't even use the word I used the word rancid. And a lot of people say, well, look at your club. And look, my club's in the mud. I know we are. But honest to God, no word of a lie, something about this Everton team. Look at the quality of the players in their team. If they go down, they could be one of the best teams I've ever seen go down. It almost reminds me, not quite the same as Borough, because I don't remember when Borough went down in the 90s with Ravanelli and Emerson and Jorginho. I don't remember who they had in defence.
Reminds me of the Leeds team that went down was it 2003, 2002?
That's a great shout. You've had Borough, you've had Leeds.
West Ham
was the first time they went down, where you just look at the squad and you went, that's too good to go down. But they just look awful. They just look awful.
Yeah, shout out to Hassan, who nailed it right. Everton have been buying up the lesser of the top 6 teams for the last 3 or 4 seasons, trying to improve their squad, and they've only put themselves further behind. I think he's hit the nail on the head there. That as long as they keep doing that, they're never going to be up there. And especially with this, so Van der Beek, although I think he's a good player, he hasn't played, so his confidence is shot. Dele Alli, who's been on the decline for 3 or 4 seasons. They're only going to put themselves deeper in the mud, and it's showing with their league performance. And especially when, so that's same with Leeds, like bringing in the manager they did, I think it was the wrong decision. Jesse is it March? I think he's, I think they picked the wrong manager too. I think both of them could easily go down this season.
Do you know what's really really interesting to me is when I look at Everton's squad, you're right, with a lot of the players they buy. Now, you older guys will get this. I don't know if Mo or Jerome will, because obviously I'm not from the UK. And the reason I say that is because I'm going to talk about this. Whenever you see those shows where like 90s pop bands get back together and they all look a little bit old and haggard, the music's like, it's nostalgic, but you're sort of like, but you're not going to...
back.
Yeah, you're not going to be Ed Sheeran or Adele or Drake to a number 1 song anymore because you're not relevant anymore. It's like, do you get what I'm saying? That's what their team looks like. They did it when they bought James Rodriguez. Oh, they got a baller. Guys, no one else wants him. There's a reason no one else wants him. And sometimes when you're older guard's age, you've still got time to turn it around. But when you're already in your mid to late 20s, no one wants you. There's a reason for it. And Hussam, I didn't realize Hussam said that, but he is right. They've bought a load of old tosh, really.
Yeah.
They bought a load
I
of
hope Everton go down this season. I would love it if they went down as a Liverpool fan.
Well, we helped.
Yeah,
to
Tottenham
be
helping
honest,
Liverpool again.
If Everton goes down, I think that would be the worst travesty of the Premier League ever. Because since the Premier League started, Everton has always stayed up. They never went down. I think if this team goes down, it'll be very hard. It'll be even worse than Leeds for them to come back up. Because, I don't know. It would be very hard for them.
It depends. It depends on that'll be when it really comes down to the owner and how much more money is going to come in and what they're going to pump into the club. They just don't have a strategy. Again, they don't or don't have a strategy that's working and it's falling apart. Now, I want to ask you guys, and I want to get Mo's opinion on this first as a neutral. Harry Kane tonight surpassed the goal-scoring Premier League goal-scoring record of Thierry Henry. Is that something that Harry Kane, Tottenham fans, and football fans in general should be congratulating him for and celebrating? Or does it mean, like a lot of the comments that are coming tonight, especially the super chats, have been he's nowhere near any of those players, nowhere near Henry, don't talk about it. It's almost like another thing that Harry Kane has achieved is being played down. What's your take, Mo?
Stuck.
Oh, I think Mo's
frozen.
Yeah, I think Mo's frozen. Yeah.
Frozen the whole
time. That's why.
That's why he's not anyway.
You're right, Mo. Mo, hang on a minute. Mo, you right, mate? Mo, are you there, Mo? Hello, is it me you're looking for?
Oh wow.
I can see it in your eyes. Mo's gone, people. We don't know where Mo is. I hope he's well. I hope he's safe. We'll get him back. We're going to bring Tom Little in to join us as well now. But look, guys, Harry Kane, talk to me. Talk to me.
Harry Kane's actually a really good player. I mean, I hope he goes to like a good team that wins loads of trophies. But it depends. I don't see him going to Man City because I don't see Man City going in for him. But to be honest, it wouldn't be a bad shout if he went to PSG because of Pochettino. I'm sure he wants to reunite with Pochettino and get a trophy together or some sort.
No, he wants to stay in the Premier League, mate. He wants to break Premier League
Pochettino,
records.
I don't think Pochettino will be at PSG for much longer anyway. So I think that's out. For me, Harry Kane's quality finisher. Really good player, but to be in a conversation with the likes that he's been like where he's at in the goal scoring records, he has to win trophies. He's never performed. I agree. He's never performed on a big stage in the final. He's done it in the Premier League against teams. He's done it against Arsenal numerous times. Man City, he's had performances, even Man United as well. So he can have big performances. But when it's come to the crunch of getting the trophies or putting yourself on that elite stage, he's always fallen short. So until he does that, I understand the criticism, but you can't deny him as a striker or as a player as well, the qualities that he possesses. But for me, I'll only say he's redeemed himself this season if he ends up getting 20 plus goals and stuff like that this season because he's had a shocker.
But then the players that he's been compared to, if you think of like Henry, I agree. Like he's one of the best, greatest, forwards in the Premier League history. But then you look at the period that he was playing in, and the Arsenal team that he was playing in, all the players around him, and even like other players when like Drogba's of this world. I think what Harry's done over the last however many seasons. I think you've got to take that into consideration, like what he's achieved with.
Oh yeah, and I completely agree with that. And like you say, obviously, in a team with Arsenal, with all the quality they have and all that, but in crucial points in that season, Henry would carry him to a Premier League title. Harry Kane's never done that.
The whole
if he goes to any Premier
it.
League now, he would walk into any team still. Like if you transfer to Man City, he walks into that team. If he transferred to Liverpool, he walks into that team. If he like any team in the world, he would walk straight in. I think.
I don't deny that. I don't deny that at all. I think he would. But for me, that's being good and all that. He had these chances to go to Man City, but we stopped it. So that's just another thing that's going to add to the
this
thing.
trophy
He's never
argument.
It depends on like
getting trophies is like the icing on the cake, in my opinion, in my honest, humble opinion. Like
it depends if teams like Liverpool or Man City want to take a chance with him because of his age. Is always getting to that age where he's getting old now, and you don't know if he's going to have the same impact as he was at a younger age.
Yeah,
I don't think Kane's going to suffer physical degree. It's all about the injuries more so. It's not about is he going to fall off massively physically, because he's not really using his pace now. He's actually really good at dropping in. I mean, they were doing a great analysis before and showing how when he drops in on Rodri, that was one of the key parts of their win against City. Harry Kane is a great striker, one of the best the Premier League has seen. And I don't know if he gets that move to City, and if he doesn't, he'll go down as the best player in the Premier League to never win a trophy. And that'll be a sad legacy to be remembered by.
I think what stands out for me with Kane, though, is that no matter what he does or achieves, it gets... The seeds would have been planted for if he does go to City. I've seen people on streams say, but if he goes to City and wins trophies, he'll just be part of a squad that's winning trophies. It won't matter. He won't be pivotal for them. He won't be this. And I'm just sort of like... But no one said that about Grealish. No one said, Grealish, why are you going to City? Because you're just going to be another member of a great squad. It's not an achievement for Grealish to go to Man City and win anything. Nobody turned around and said, hang on, Luis Diaz. Hang on a minute, son. Why are you going to Liverpool to win trophies? It'd be much better if you went to Tottenham and maybe scraped the League Cup over the next 10 years, because that would mean more than going to a team that's already winning. Yeah. It's only Harry Kane. Harry Kane is the only player I've ever seen, no matter what he scores, what he does, when he does things, the goalpost gets moved again. And if he goes to Man City and scores 35 goals and wins the Prem, they go, yeah, but they're winning Premier Leagues without him. It's almost like Harry Kane has to go to a team that isn't winning, start scoring more goals than their previous strikers, help them win those trophies, be the guy that scores in all the decisive games and in the finals, for anyone to turn around and maybe just go, oh, he was pretty good. Like, he'd have to go to Man United, help us win a Premier League almost straight away. And even then, some people would turn around and go, yeah, right, couldn't do it at Tottenham, though, could he? That's where I get annoyed with Harry. All those other strikers on that list.
People moving the goalposts all the time. That's why.
All those strikers on that list are respected, irrespective. And yes, they've won trophies, but they're before them and after them.
I think the reason why people are doing it with trophy like that side of the argument, that's because if Harry Kane was to go to Man City and win two Premier Leagues before he retires, then the amount of goals he scored and the majority of it done it for a really poor Tottenham team, then you can instantly say he's on, he's in that discussion for better than, I'm not saying he is, before anyone decides to put comments in, high daps. People can start saying he's on that level, be compared to the likes of Henry's. And obviously loads of fans who supported Henry or supported Arsenal won't have that discussion. They'll just say, no, Henry was still the better player. So that's what it is. And go back to the guy, gentleman earlier on bottom left. Sorry, I forgot your name.
Mohammed.
Yeah, Mohammed. The thing about trophies is just icing on the cake. No, your bread and butter, winning trophies is everything in football. That comes first before anything else, before goal tallies or anything like that. So I would disagree with you on that point.
Mohammed, listen, bro, I'm going to bring the other Mo back in. Thanks very much for coming on, mate.
Okay, thank you for having me,
mate. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much indeed. I appreciate it. Mo's back with us now after freezing. He just froze on us, brother.
So I was kicked out. I was kicked out, and then I tried to join the stream, and then it wouldn't go in for some reason.
The StreamYard's been acting really weird today, to be fair. They've been doing all sorts of madnesses. Henry is the greatest player in history. he matched eye test and stats. He won it all. He did not with Arsenal, but he did win it all.
He didn't win it all.
That. You cannot compare Kane to Henry. Henry is special. Listen, I agree Henry is special, but you know Harry Kane as a footballer, he's not. I don't think he ain't Michael Owen. He ain't a tapping merchant. He's not a one-on-one goal poacher. He is a supremely talented footballer. The point is this. That's why the eye test argument is always one that bothers me, because Harry Kane could, in the next 7 years, he won more trophies domestically than Henry ever did, broke Alan Shearer's goal scoring record. People would still say, nah, it's not. Like they say, right now, what they say is, though, nah, no trophies can't be considered. Then if he was to surpass lots of those guys in that team in terms of trophies, they'd say, yeah, but the eye test, he don't pass the eye test. And that's what I mean. Harry Kane's just got this weird thing around him that no one rates him. But Mo, what's your take on Harry Kane?
I think
record and everything else.
Both of them are actually, if you look at the way they play, maybe they look different, but they actually both are very similar in terms of how they play. Both of them drop. Both of them like to assist as much as scoring. None of them is a tap merchant. Both of them like to run with the ball. Harry Kane likes to run with the ball, shoot from far. Thierry Henry used to do that. If you're old enough to watch Thierry Henry, and I'm sure that most of us here are, he used to shoot from far. He used to drive with the ball. Harry Kane is doing the same. The only difference is that Thierry Henry used to actually lead his team to the trophy, but Harry Kane couldn't do that. I know that the squads are not the same, the coaches are not the same, but Harry Kane has been trying. Maybe if they won against Liverpool in the Champions League, we'll have a different talk. But I didn't think they belonged in the final of the Champions League. But Thierry Henry assisted more in the Premier League by double than Harry Kane, and this is some stat that people have to put in mind. It's not only about goals.
Yeah, but that's why we're not.
Yeah.
This show isn't about Henry versus Harry Kane. That isn't kind of the premise of it. We know where Henry is. I think a lot of it for me is people just giving Kane his respect. But what I see a lot of people do is fluctuate. Because when I talk about Ryan Giggs being the GOAT because of the amount of trophies he's got, people go, no, but it's about other things. When it comes to Harry Kane, trophies just come out. The word trophies comes out because he passes the eye test, because he passes the goals, because he passes the assists. The only thing left to put him down with is the trophies. And suddenly trophies become, and that's all I want is consistency. Herb here says Kane is not winning more trophies in 7 years. Again, Herb, you've kind of misunderstood the point of a hypothetical. And Franklin says hypotheticals, the point is Harry Kane won't do any of those things. Again, that isn't the point of a hypothetical. The hypothetical is, I guarantee if he did, Franklin, you would move the goalpost again.
He might, Terry. Why not? Why not? If you move to City next year, why not? Someone explain to me why not.
So, viewers, if you don't think Harry Kane is world class or one of the best strikers ever in the league, what does he have to achieve now? Write it in the comment sections in point blank. What does he have to do to be considered that by you? Write it down now. I want it in black and white. I want receipts. What does he have to do? Can you spell it out?
Can I just say something in regards to comparing Henry, Harry Kane, and everything? Thierry Henry played for the Invincible. Okay? Harry Kane plays for Tottenham, a poor Tottenham. Okay? If you put Henry now in that poor Tottenham, is not doing the same thing as Harry Kane is doing. Okay? Harry Kane is on a different level because if you put him in Man City, okay, it's fine because Man City's got all of those amazing players around him. Harry Kane can just be a tapping merchant and just beat records faster than he would do at Tottenham. But he's doing it right now at Tottenham at a very low level.
Can I just say something? I think let's not do a prime Henry a disservice. I think if you put a prime Henry in that team, he does as much as he used to do.
I'm not saying prime Henry is not better. Prime Henry is definitely an amazing player. But what I'm saying is Henry played for the Invincible. He had amazing players around him as well. Okay, let's just not give discredit to Bergkamp, Pires, and all those players around him, because without them, Vieira and all those, without them, he will not be scoring all those
I'm not
goals.
doing that.
Well,
but also, when
I have
Arsenal
another
got
opinion
worse,
about this.
when Arsenal got worse and Henry was still there, Henry was still the standout player. So I agree the credit of the Bergkamp and all that, because for me, I would have taken Bergkamp.
No, I feel like what Jerome's also saying as well, though, is people have said if Kane goes to City and scores loads of goals and they win the league.
Yeah, he will beat the record in no time.
That's not that wasn't the point I'm making. People say things like, "Yeah, but they would win the league anyway." Arsenal won a Premier League FA Cup double before Henry, right? As an example. Yes, he made them better, but no one discredited Henry again. Yeah, but they've got Bergkamp and Perez, so why is Henry so special? Henry was special because Henry was special and he deserved to be called out. Harry Kane going to Man City or Liverpool, and I use them as examples, he will make them even better. So that's why this whole nonsense that he has to stay to have a real legacy. If he just goes to one of those clubs, he won't really be loved and remembered. I just think it's the most load of bullshit I've ever read in my life. Harvey here says he needs to win trophies. Again, I said be specific. That doesn't mean anything, because what you'll say if I win trophy, this one here, no, win multiple trophies. How many trophies and what type? I want specifics from you. Receipts I'm taking. Multiple leagues. How many? So if he wins, it has to be 3, the same as Henry to be world class. Does it have to be 4? Would it be better than Henry? Like specificity, my people. Come on now.
Henry won 2 or 3.
Henry he can only have won 2. He can only have won
2.
2.
2001, 2002, and the invincible year. So I think, in my opinion, to answer your question, in my opinion, it was going to be 1 league and another 2 trophies. It was like an FA Cup or something like this. And I think at that point, if he passes 200 goals in the Premier League, I think he has a better legacy. That's all what it takes. 1 league title, another FA Cup or something, and 200 goals. You're passing I think you're the best striker the league ever seen. I think that's what it is.
I mean, to be honest, in 10 years' time, when it's all said and done, like when his career is done, and then they look back, if he's like the top scorer in the Premier League, they don't put next to it, oh, he won 6, FA Cups and 4. At the end of the day, goals do count. And I don't agree with this fact about goals don't count, because they don't look at how many trophies they won. They look at how many goals they've scored overall in their career.
But only if you're first or second. Only if you're first or second.
So, guys, I want to look at it, because Chris says that he's got to win 2 Premier Leagues, 2 FA Cups, and a Champions League. So he's got to win more, again, on a weight of trophies.
He's got to win more than what Henry done.
More than Henry if he's in world class. And that's what I mean.
While potentially achieving more than Henry done.
That's insane.
Terry's point. Exactly.
So
that's insane.
Going back to your point again about the goals, goals do count if they show the goal stat, but if they show the trophy stat and he's got 0 next to his name, so you have to balance it out. You can't just go on goals. You have to go on both.
And it isn't just trophies; it's everything. Michael Owen has a Premier League winners medal, but he did score some goals that season that helped Man United, but he wasn't a key component over the course of the 38 games. So it doesn't help. I don't elevate Michael Owen higher as a player because he's got it. However, if Kane went to City, the irony is if City end up failing to win this league from the position they were in, you could look at the fact that they didn't have a Harry Kane in there potentially to do it. If he goes City in the summer or Liverpool in the summer and he scores 25 league goals, 35 in all comps, and they win a league title, like, he's massively contributed. It just is what it is. If he goes somewhere else, I still wouldn't write off Chelsea. I know a lot of people said they would. Man United is going to be an interesting one. I don't know if it'll work, but it's just going to be so intriguing to see where he goes and what he does. But if he stays at Tottenham, I don't think he will ever put himself into the top 3, top 4. Not just because of goals. Like, I have a look at Shearer's there because he got 260 goals. He'd have to beat Shearer's record by some way. He'd have to get 270, 280. Maybe then. I don't know. It's going to be hard. I think trophies are important.
But even that, to some point, Alan Shearer's discredited. Although he's got Premier League trophy and a goal-scoring record, he's discredited because he was before most of the people's time who do like YouTube and everything like that talk about football now. But he was before his time. They just instantly discredit him. I've been in many chats where they go, oh, Alan Shearer was nothing special. Alan Shearer didn't do this. Alan Shearer did, So he's discredited because of how old he was and because he came before. But to win a Premier League trophy and top goal scorer in a Premier League that no one's come close to, but he's discredited because of that reason. Maybe because he
played in a good Newcastle team.
But is that are we saying this only because Antonio Conte is not gonna be able to win a trophy with Tottenham? Are we just ruling this out? Are we ruling this out? For every Tottenham fan, you guys are ruling this out.
I'm not likely.
So let's look at it. Spurs, Conte generally doesn't do well in cup competitions that aren't the league. We're far off winning the league. We need massive, like Surgery's had team, like about 300 million plus to get anywhere near it. So for me, no. I don't think even Conte can. I was a big fan of Conte, but he doesn't do well in cup competitions, and we haven't got the team to do it in the league. So it looks like, so it looked like it's a way off yet. So by that time, Harry Kane could have moved on or maybe even retired if injuries do creep up on him with his ankles.
Mm-hmm. Can we talk about Everton though? Because that was so funny. Oh my god, I enjoyed that so much.
Tom has been waiting forever for this.
Oh, jeez.
It's like Christmas for Tom. Look,
being in and around the city when Frank came in, Super Frank, he's gonna take us back. You know, this is it. We're back. Oh my days! Lost 4 out of the first 5 in the league. Their defence, oh my days, their defence. Michael Keane in the past 2 games has set up Phil Foden and put one in his own net just for good measure. That's the best goal scoring form any Everton players in at the minute. You know, that defence entirely is a shambles. It's a shambles. It's championship level. Holgate, crap. Coleman, passed it. John Joe Kenny is a failed right back at left back, which normally you're a successful right back who transitions to left back because you're needed there. You're not a failed right back. That doesn't look well. Donny van der Beek, good player. Why would you pick Everton over Palace at the minute? Palace are on that trajectory. Everton are on that trajectory. There's no way that you coming in would change that. I don't see why you choose that.
Frank Lampard.
I didn't realize. Sorry, guys. Sorry, I didn't realize they beat Arsenal 2-1 on the 6th of December. They've won 1 game since.
Yeah.
I haven't been looking.
It's Leeds, wasn't it?
Terry, they won 2 in the last 18. 2 games in the last 18.
Yeah, Leeds. They beat Leeds.
Wow, that is
The
awful.
1 point above the drop. Is it 1 point above
1
relegation?
point.
Yeah, 1 point above
with the game
Burnley.
last, but 1 point.
Look at Tom's face. Look at Tom's
There'll be
face.
a lot of people who go, oh no, I don't want Everton to go down. What would you do about derbies? I would love for Everton to go down. That would be one of the best. That would be best. I'd happily sacrifice us.
What will Liverpool be like?
It's like when West Ham went down for us.
It will
Tom,
be
what will Liverpool be like as a city if they go down and at the same time you win the league?
Oh my days! I don't want to think about this.
There will be 2 parades. There'll be one for the trophy and one for Everton going down. I can tell you that much. There'll be a fan organised one with Everton.
Wow!
going
Have you
down.
seen? Wait! I'm just looking at it now. Everton's next fixtures: Wolves, Newcastle, West Ham, Man United, Liverpool, Chelsea, Leicester, Brentford, Arsenal, Crystal Palace, Leicester, Burnley, Watford.
That's not looking good, man.
Whose
They're
games?
going down.
Yeah,
They're
so
Everton's.
hang on. And
They're
Everton
Everton's
on the
main
last day,
fixtures.
Everton on the last day of the season were away at Arsenal,
Mm-hmm.
who have got an amazing home record. Oh, they're in absolute bits.
Frank
mate.
Lampard as well. Let's
And
not,
then
let's
you
not
hire
forget
Frank
Lampard.
Lampard.
Let's not
And then you
forget
hire Frank Lampard. And then
Everton.
you go.
Everton are in a situation where they need some experience. They need some. They've got a squad that isn't really gelling. A lot of egos that really aren't suited to the position, and they need someone to come in and just steer them away and then rebuild. So who they get? A manager who has no experience in a relegation battle. And to me, anyway, I don't know about you, it seems like he's one of them former players who can't grasp the concept that the players he's managing aren't as good as he was as a footballer, so can't do the same things he was able to do. And he gets annoyed by that. When you're going away to a top 6 side as Everton with a defence of Kenny, Keane, Holgate and Coleman, why on God's green earth are you playing a midfield 3 with Donny van der Beek in, who is still not fully match sharp, I don't think. Decore, who hasn't looked great since the start of the season.
He ain't good enough for the Premier League. When people wake up and realise that Donny van der Beek, we've seen Kulusevski, and people take this, and I know what it is, and I'm going to say it bluntly now because I'm just sick and tired of it going on. Clip me if you want. When you say player X isn't suited to the Premier League, certain football fans read it as some warped xenophobia.
Yeah.
It's nothing to do with the passport as such as Donny van der Beek and the country that he sits in, because his body doesn't know he's in a different fucking country, right? It's the pace of the individual league and the styles of the league. It's almost like this. Some tennis players are brilliant on all 3 surfaces. Some excel on grass, some excel on clay, some excel on is it concrete? I don't even know what it bloody is.
So it's hard court clay and grass.
Hard court. I don't even know what I meant. I don't know what hard courts are made of. Some excel on 1, some excel on 2, some excel in all 3. Same with some people. Some people, Luis Diaz looks made for for Premier League football. Kulusevski for Spurs. You can already see he looks made for Premier League football. As an example, some people are just not cut out for it, but they have this weird view that you're saying you're from X country, you can't hack it in my country. Something to do. Donny van der Beek could thrive living in the UK. I'm pretty sure of it. But it's not that ain't what we're talking about. It's literally the speed of the league, the power of the league, and the velocity that it's played at. He just doesn't look right. He
doesn't get the time to put his foot on it and properly scan around and pick his passes.
Very
out.
slow today, Terry. He was very slow. The game, the first half was
you heard
really
Spurs fans heard this. Spurs fans the other day. What did Brian Hill say in his interview after leaving?
Pretty much the league was too much for him. Also, something to those things like he couldn't cope with the league or speed.
The league, it was just too much. He just couldn't get his head around it. And this was a kid who was ranked in the top 5 most talented young players in the whole of Spain. He ain't no bad player. He just may never be suited to Premier League football. Yeah. And ironically, the Premier League is about 73% foreign. So the speed and power and brilliance of our league is predominantly that because of our wonderful foreign imports. I just know that people get angry with it because they think it's some weird like celebration for the Brits. It isn't. Like weirdos, all of them. Weirdos.
You know that, Terry. You know the best player, the best example is one of the. I think Angel Di Maria was one of the best. Is the best 50 player in the last 10 years, probably for us. Champions League. He came to the Premier League and looked physically not up to the level. He looked slower than everybody, and then he goes to PSG, and then he does wonders with Argentina, wonders, and with Real Madrid, we know what he did. It's just an example of sometimes. As exactly as you said, it doesn't work for you. The game is faster or physically or tactically is just so different than what you have been trained on, than what you have been playing all your life. It's just different. And some players just come and hit the ground running and it just works out for them. And Luis Diaz is Colombian and Angel Di Maria is Argentinian. So they play kind of like the South American football. And this worked and this didn't work. And this coming from Real Madrid, it's coming from Porto. And it's just this is the example. It has nothing to do
same with Bentancur. I mean, I don't want to keep banging on about Bentancur, but Bentancur is another one. I think he's
he's made as well.
I just love the fact that the Everton bought 2 attacking midfielders and don't play an attacking midfielder. They bought Dele Alli and Donny. They could pay £40 million for Dele Alli, and it's just completely. I don't get how that club is run. It's just a shambles, and it is the funniest thing I've seen. Like they might stay up. They might stay up. Burnley might not do what I think Burnley are going to do. I fully believe since Frank Lampard came in, Everton will go down. I think this is it for them. But if they stay up, they're not going to all of a sudden get back to the top half finishes again because that squad is rotten to the core.
It was bringing in Frank Lampard. Is one of the worst footballing decisions I've seen at a football club.
They were protesting for him. They were protesting.
I still look at it like this. Lampard for me there is a manager in there somewhere. There's a coach in there somewhere. I can see it, but he has made 2 horrendous career choices. And I go back to something he said it went on TalkSport that he said it, but I was listening to a TalkSport radio show. When I was speaking about this years back now, just before, and he said that he's happy to, when he wanted to become a manager, his words were, I'm happy to drop to the championship and get my hands dirty for a while. And there's a few people like presenters and people calling in saying, it sounds like he's being forced to go to that level, but he's just desperate to be in the Premier League, as opposed to realizing that you got to learn to cut your teeth. I love the fact that Wayne Rooney turned the Everton interview down. One, he wants to be loyal to Derby. And look, if they can keep winning the way they are, the win rate they've got, they will jump in front of Reading in the space of the next 6 games. If he keeps Derby up, that's a great achievement. He's actually learning how to get through. Like what Rooney's going through in his first year or so of management is going to be priceless for him in his career. But stay out the light. You are, to a large intent and purposes, out of the limelight. Stay out the limelight for a few years. Like again, even Gerrard had some great moments so far in the Prem. He's also had a few runs of games where it's like, oh, I'm still learning. But he went away and did a few years, cut his teeth out of the limelight. And no disrespect to the Scottish game, it's massive there and they care. But it doesn't get global attention, global pressure. Like how often do you see something from the Derby up there? What's it called? The Old Firm. But how often do you see something trending unless it's a real negative thing that's nothing to do with bloody football? You don't. Like with Premier League football, every game trends. Every Premier League game, you see it in the sidebar. The game's on there trending the whole time. So the pressure is massive. And yeah, Lampard for me is also very silly to even take it. I think he's nowhere near this standard. He's nowhere near this level.
He almost seems like he's entitled. He thinks he's entitled to a good managerial grade. He was a good midfielder once. Like that's not how it works. Yeah. I don't know if he doesn't understand that players can't be as good as he was.
What my problem is? He hasn't learned. I'm watching Everton today, and it's the same leaky Chelsea. That the reason why he got sacked from Chelsea, that they were leaking goals. Today, the same. The midfield is too slow to recover. His defense is wide open, and that's why Tottenham were like it could have been 5 or 6 just the first half, but it wasn't because Son was wasteful. But why he hasn't learned, and this is why he needs to go away from.
But he wants to play this expansive football with a team that can't play. This Everton team has it's got the core in there who I think's all right, but Alan can't play this type of football that Lampard wants to play. Gordon's still learning. Charlton doesn't like to play the football Lampard wants to play, coming deep, receiving it, dragging on. The defence isn't good enough to play it. Lampard just needs to understand this is a situation where he has to not try and be expansive and take the league by force and, oh my God, look at the football Frank Lampard's playing. Be dirty, grind out your 1-0 wins. Just sit back with a back 5 and head everything away.
Do you think Everton management realise their mistake and fire him and hire somebody else for the rest of the season, or do you reckon they'll stick with him to the end?
Allardyce.
They won't get Sam Allardyce far. They won't get Sam.
I don't know if they reckon. I mean, if he loses another 3 or 4 on the bounce from here, maybe.
They won't sack him. They won't sack him. They can't.
I doubt it. But they would have to. Well, financially, it's going to be difficult for him. But if they don't sack him by the start of April, he'll stay for the rest of the season. But it's going to be terrible.
You know what I can see happening as well, which just is the tip, like the cherry on top with Lampard. If he takes them down, you just know he'll resign, saying, "Oh, I'm not taking a championship job. I'm going down to the championship. No, I'll just wait for another Prem job to crop up again because I'm Frank Lampard. Now, I was a good player once. Where's my job on a silver platter?
You think anybody hires him then? Do you think anybody hires him?
Not in the Prem. No, I don't think anyone. If he goes down,
he goes down, but he'll think he's entitled to one. You'll think he's entitled
down with a terrible losing record between now and the end of the season. No Premier League club is touching him again.
No one.
Viewers, everyone that has tuned in, sorry to everyone else that's waiting backstage. A big thank you to each and every single one of you tonight. Remember, we are sponsored by Boohoo Man. Go check out their latest clothing range. They've got the new Top Boy range that's available ahead of the new season that's being released very soon on Netflix. Go and check that out, people. To my panel tonight, thank you. To my callers, thank you. To my super chatters, actually, I might have missed a super chat.
Oh, dear.
Lukaku was a prime example. Laddie said that, a prime example of players not cutting it in the Prem. Anyone want a bit of sticky toffee pudding? I get that. Drogba or Kane, legacy wise, even if Kane moves, I mean, who's got the greater legacy? Just quickly,
Drogba.
In finals, Drogba. Yeah,
yeah, it's got to be Drogba. It's got to be Drogba for me as well. I appreciate that all. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. Cheers. See you soon. Thank you.